Hello everyone, this is JPL back for another thought topic. Now this is different from a normal thought topic that I would normally do. This is more of a thought topic, where something has recently been brought to everyone's attention, and I think that I should think this through. So it's a thought topic. Now, it's recently been confirmed, something that we've all kind of known for a while now, that Season 9 of My Little Pony will be the last season of this current show, A Friendship with Magic. Now, us fans who, kept track of spoilers about some things that they have in store for the future, did know this. They knew that the 9th season was very likely the final season. We also knew that there would be a couple more movies to be made, and so far they've confirmed one, which was actually a CGI movie that was also leaked back when. And so with this current news, I've been seeing a lot of this idea of what happens next type things, and just saying our farewells to My Little Pony, all over the place. I've seen it on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook, anywhere I could possibly see. I've been seeing these news oh hey, this is the end of the show, but don't worry, the Brony fandom will go on forever. We still have conventions, we still got everything. Yeah, we'll be so cool. We will not die at all. Now, I've said multiple times in multiple videos that I do feel like there will be a point where the Brony fandom will end. Now, some people believe that the end of Season 9 will actually be the end of the Brony fandom itself, which I don't believe that. I believe that it's more of a tipping point, more of a turning point you could say, where the fandom just changes. The fandom has changed throughout its almost 10-year run now. Started out with just being a fan of the show, and then, meeting with conventions and meetups, into this whole community of friends that, love and tolerate. And then somewhere down the line, the love and tolerate catchphrase that we were known for seemed to just disappear. So whenever, people say after each year, oh, the fandom is dying, I don't think that was the case. I know that I myself felt like the fandom was dying back when. I felt that since Season 5, during Season 6, where I felt like the fandom itself was dying. But I guess, if I were to think of it now, the fandom was just changing. It was growing, like we naturally do. Yes, less people are going to conventions, but this is just because life. People are changing. They don't have the finances to keep doing this, so we have all that. This is just very weak proof that we have for this being the final part of the Brony fandom, but it's really all we have to think about. With that said, let me express my thoughts on BronyCon itself. BronyCon 2019 is the last BronyCon ever to happen. Maybe down the line, 10, 15 years from now, they can have a revival BronyCon, a Renaissance BronyCon, but I don't think so. I think that this will probably be it, and if they do, it's very exciting. I know that this is my last BronyCon. It has to be, because there won't be any more. But no, I feel like this one will probably have possibly the biggest attendance since 2015. This is somewhat how I've been seeing the fandom. Because since 2015 BronyCon with 10,000 attendees, the attendance has slowly been steadily dropping to very low numbers, which is why BronyCon is ending this next year, or should I say this year, for the final event. And you know, so many people are like going to this one because it's the final one. And it makes me think, I think we could actually have the biggest BronyCon we've ever had, making 2015, my first year that I went, the second biggest BronyCon, which, that would be cool. It'd be a nice send-off for the conventions and let us know that we are still here as a group, as a fandom. However, I still feel like that the Brony fandom itself will die. Well, I don't mean die as in, you know, it's gonna just disappear off the face of the world. I think that it's more gonna be a forgotten thing that's known to a few. And, you know, my reasoning for that is that whenever something let me rephrase this. In order for something to continue and be strong, it has to continue to actively do something. Let's just say that bronies stop working on their fan work. And after that, people just stop looking at all the fan work. And because there's nothing left else to watch, they've seen everything. And so then that would be just, there's no more fandom, there's just these remnants of people who call themselves bronies, but they've moved on to something because there's nothing left to look at. Because then you're living in the past. If you live in the past forever, then you know you've done nothing. And you know, as a Christian, you should not just live in the past. You have to constantly trying to move forward, constantly trying to help people, to help heal them, to help through whatever means. Because if you do nothing, if you just focus on things that have been, then you're focusing on all the wrong things, and you've wasted your time here on Earth. I mean, if I look into this room here, I have 3 BronyCon posters. I have BronyCon posters, I have these plushies, I have these little pony figurines, I have my Bionicles, I have books, I have a Star Wars Clone Wars comforter. However, 10 years from now, I don't know if I'll have all this. See, I don't know if I'll still have all these ponies. I'm sure I will, but I'm not sure if I'll have them in the same way, give them the same amount of care as I do now. Because 10 years from now, I'm sure I would have moved on to something. I probably would have had a family. All of this will probably be in a tub in the basement to make room so that my family can have it. And I don't sell it because I want to save it for maybe my children to play with. And so, if you bring that into mind, you question, look back in your own life. What things did you used to just love constantly that you now don't have the same feeling as you once did? I look back and I think of Bionicle. Bionicle was this very popular Lego thing. It actually saved Lego. I still love Bionicle now. I still have most, if not all, of my Bionicles, but they're not what they used to be. They used to be like this, completely built, but now they're mostly just pieces. Some of them are built because I had special care and love put into them. Others, you know, I ripped them apart because I felt like doing something creative. But Bionicle used to have this thriving fan base. Bionicle still has a fan base, but it's not really thriving. We're just people who like Bionicle. You know, when you talk about Bionicle in a normal conversation, there would always be that person who's like, "Oh yeah, I remember that. They were so cool." And then they move on to something else. And only people who are very passionate about Bionicle would continue in conversation Now, people are still making fan work about Bionicle 10 years, 9 years after, the first cancellation, which is cool for them. But the strong fandom that was, is just no more. Right now, what we have is creative people doing something new, but it no longer has the same value of Bionicle. The Brony fandom, it could continue, but it won't be the Brony fandom anymore. It would be something different. It will change. And this change may come in the form of Generation 5, whatever that may come. Because people say, like, oh, the Brony fandom will not end. We still have G5. Well, the Brony fandom was created for G4. G5 was not really a thought to have. So, yes, I do feel that the Brony fandom will probably continue in a manner. It will not be the same, though. I don't think that it will 100% die, at least not right away. I feel like after the fandom, after the show ends, there might be a surge of content, of fans showing their support, to say, yes, we will continue to do things. But then afterwards, I feel like fans will move on to something different. Because once you've been stuck in the same place for so long, you wish for a change of scenery. I sometimes still get tired of my Bionicles. I remember I used to play with them all the time, but I don't now, because I simply got tired of playing with them. I used to play with my Star Wars action figures or my toys, but I don't play with them now, because I got tired with playing with toys. I mean, I still might occasionally, whenever I feel like being bored or something, I might play with them, but now they're just taking up space in a tub in the basement, and my only desire for them is to be sold to a kid who will have the imagination that I used to have. And I think that 100 years from now, I think is a point where there will not be a fandom. I do feel like there could be fans of the show, as we still have people who like westerns, not because they experience it, because they watched it because their grandparents like it. I like some western shows. I like Bonanza, I like The Wagon Train, The Rifleman, but only because my grandfather watches that himself. So I feel like maybe the next generation there might be a surge, but the Brony fandom could just end up like the western, no longer being a constant thing, and whenever it's tried to be recreated, it doesn't do as good as a job. There will never be the good, the bad, and the ugly ever again. We can never have another Little House on the Prairie. We can never have another Rifleman without so many changes through modern eyes. And I wonder if this will probably be a message that we'll have in the show itself. We had Twilight's journey with her starting out not into friends, and then we see her journey to loving her friends, and then her becoming a princess, and then her becoming the prince of a friendship, and then we had the map, and the new school, and all the students, and the pillars, and so much. But I wonder if the end is like, yes, this is the end. We've had a great run. But let's not dwell on the past. Let's move forward to something. There's so much that I could say about this, but because, there's so much, I think I might just end off here with something that I wrote. My senior year in high school, I wrote a ballad for an English class that I did, and I wrote about My Little Pony and fans of the Bronies. I had little pony figures all around my paper here to make an artistic appeal. Even included some fan characters. But this was called The Ballad for the Ponies. And here we go. Back in the 80s, something great was born. Something so rich that Hasbro couldn't mourn. The kids loved it so. Something made of glory. That thing was called My Little Pony. Little girls loved it. Toys that weren't ducks. As time went on, The ponies kind of sucked. But someone had a vision. Later, it would joust. A vision from someone named Lauren Faust. And something strange happened. Boys loved the ponies. A fandom was born. Here come the bronies. The guys learned so much, they got it from the lessons. First they had meetups, now they have conventions. Inside those places, cosplay is a rarity, and during their free time, they give the charity. Fan works they made, don't expect any less. My favorite fan work, Lullaby for a Princess. Musicians write their tunes, such a roller coaster. Rainbow Factory made by Wooden Toaster. Artists they have too, always taking theirs. Their art is so amazing, just like NC Mares. And if you like the ponies, share it with a friend. The show may leave one day, but bronies never end. I wrote that last part as a comforting thing for someone looking in from an outside view. But when I wrote it, I knew this statement's not true at all. There will be a point where the brony fandom will eventually just fade, be something from memory. Remember Neopets? Neopets used to have this big craze. But now it's just like, Neopets. Huh? What the heck is that? You had one of those? Club Penguin. You think about something that you love in the past, and because, we have so much, which is another point that I wanted to make, of having so much of nothing, which I'm glad that the show is ending. Because I feel like we've had so much episodes, so much content that it's too much to keep track of. Too much of a good thing. When I got into the fandom, there was only 4 seasons, 2 movies, and some shorts. Then, as we went on, we got a few more movies. And then bajillion shorts that, you just cannot keep track of. And then, quality just started lacking. And, it gets to the point where it's not worth anything. Star Wars has kept going because more content is being made. Books, more movies, video games, whatever. Gift cards. I mean, it's become a cultural phenomenon because of the timing that everyone loved so much. But there could be a point where Star Wars will no longer be a thing. It could be just one of those very old classics that you just find at the bottom of the $5 bin. Just like the westerns of the old times, given very little respect. So what I'm saying is here, while it's good to have hope for what goes on after the fandom, keep in mind that don't lie to yourself. Don't tell yourself something that's not going to happen. Because when you live in a lie for so long, when you're finally faced with the truth, you're unprepared for it, and bad things can happen. That's my thought topic for this whole topic. I don't really have much else to say about this topic. While there's other things that I could, bring into thoughts and so forth, I can't really put it all together in words. So, if you have questions or maybe ideas about how things will go on that you want to express and share, what are your thoughts on this topic? Let me know. And maybe you might convince me to change my thought. Anyway, so yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.